So, welcome back to the sessions. So, we will discuss the section 2, question number 3. You know that this question number 3 is based on common pre-seen scenario, based on common pre-seen given scenario. So, this normally common pre-seen is given 1 month prior to your exam. Therefore, you have the opportunity to work with this pre-seen, right. So, you have opportunity to work with the pre-seen. So, you can do a lot of analysis, right. Then in the exam what happen is unseen part is given. So, here this part is newly added, unseen part is given, right. So, some more development has been done for the pre-seen given, right. So, based on that questions have been tested. In fact, there are 7 questions tested here. So, not an easy task, but remember, if you have worked hard based on the pre-seen, actually you can judge some of the area which can be tested in the exam, right. Now, here I am not going to discuss the pre-seen in details with you, because we had a separate session on that, right. You can go to that CA YouTube where you can find the pre-seen discussions, right. You can find the pre-seen discussions. Based on that, right, you can come to this unseen part, right. So, we will look at about the pre-seen given last time. Very quickly I will try to go through this, right. Since I have done a separate session on this one, this is 17 pages part. So, if I want to go through this one in detail, it will take 4 to 5 hours. So, I do not have time on that one. So, you can go to that YouTube video uploaded by CSC Lanka and watch the detailed discussion on this pre-seen, right. Alright. So, I will quickly go through this one. Here they have given a College of Business Education Private Limited, that the company name they have given. If you look at about the introductions, so this was started by Manilal D. Soisa, and he was a teacher for A-level students, right. So, he started this education institute, right. So, he is a graduate actually, right. He was a graduate. So, he lecture economic subjects for 25 years for the A-level students. Right. After that, he established this College of Business Educations. This particular institute, CBE, is located in Colombo 3, and they have 7 branches outside the Colombo. Right. So, for his business, he get the assistance of his wife also. His wife Rukmani joined to this college as head of academic activities. They have 2 children, 1 son and 1 daughter. Son is Jagat, daughter is Lakshmi, right. Son is expecting to join the business one day, right. When he established the college, he get the assistance of one of university friend, Lalit Kiriel. So, Lalit also joined as a shareholder, right. He is a business firm of Kandy. but right at the moment right, he doesn't have idea to continue with his share. He want to sell the shares to CBE since he doesn't have any kids to join the business, right. Then the Soisa family own the majority stake in the company. So Manlal is normally having a good reputation in the industry. In 2020, foreign university based in China show interest in purchasing a majority stake in the college, right, which is now a leading private and postgraduate educational institute. Jagat is head of business development and international relations at CBE. He is keen to expand the business and listing the company in the vis-a-vis board in the future. Who is Jagat here? Jagat is son, no? Yes, Jagat is son, right. He has already involved in the business. Wife also has already involved in the business, right. So no information on the Lakshmi, right, involvement in the business. If you look at the shareholding, look at this Manlal the Soisa is owning 40%. That is the founder member. Lalit Kiriala, that the friend, is holding 40%. Jagat, that is son, for 10%. Then Lakshmi the Soisa, 10. Lakshmi is the daughter. Daughter is having 10% shareholding in the company. So family own 60% of the shares. Then they have given some information about the human resources. So what are the information they have given on human resources? So they have staff workforce nearly 140. This academic staff number is 55. Then the balance 95 comprise of administrative support staff. So one of the problem they are facing at present is the high turnover among the finance and IT staff in the last few years. There was a high turnover among finance and IT staff, so that indicate that employees are not happy much on the company. But academic staff turnover is very low, right? They show a good loyalty. So what happened in IT finance staff turnover? The reason for this IT finance turnover, one reason is there was alleged fraud, right. So that is one of the reasons. On the other hand, there was no proper work-life balance, right. That means there may be very hard-working culture. Then there is another issue, nearly 70% of the staffs are male and the employees are subject to an annual informal appraisal system. That means they do not have a proper performance appraisal system linked with the KPI. Yes, they have mentioned that point. On the other hand, the policies are not in written. Lack of written policies is one of the problem in the organizations. Now at the present, a voluntary retirement scheme has been proposed by the management. So they have identified requirement of such in the light of the global pandemic situations. Normally the CBE has access to foreign faculties, especially for final year students in the undergraduate and postgraduate program. In addition to that one, academic staff also receives scholarship to pursue masters or doctoral program at such foreign faculties. That may be one of the reasons for low turnover of the academic staff. However, in such an instance, they are bonded for a specific number of years to the college by signing memorandum of understanding. So if you have utilized that facility given, they can't leave. They have to stay some years. They have to sign a bond, right? The CBE is well known for research. This Jagat, that son, has been instrumental in setting up a joint venture with some leading private sector companies to fund and commercialize its research initiatives, right. Then product portfolio, they have 4 products mainly: undergraduate education, postgraduate education, professional executive education, short courses. If you look at the revenue percentage they get, undergraduate education 20%, postgraduate education 30%, professional external education 35%, short courses 15%. Right. CB has a students base of approximately 9,000. 90% of the revenue come from the course fees. Then they have some other revenue sources like hostel fees, registration fees, library fees, visiting fees. In addition to offering their own program, they offer franchise program for both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Normally, franchise courses are subject to academic assessment regulation of the awarding body. Since they affiliate with international partner universities, they have the access to the foreign faculties. Nearly 20% of the enrolled students follow the degree program of foreign affiliated universities. They get referral fee from the university in China and Russia for referring Sri Lanka students to follow their MBBS course also. Some of the program were rolled out without screening, evaluation and approved process by an experienced academic panel. That should be a weakness, no? Then actual product profitability of CBE in 2020-2021 differ from the estimated profit. So, finance manager was asked to carry out a variance analysis. This particular institute achieved the highest revenue in 2017-18, but it is not up to the expectation now. So, they have some weakness in budgeted process and the strategic allocation of resources. As a result, they fail to achieve the expected revenue and the cost. So, they decided to get the service of senior managerial consultant to resolve the governance and the financial faced by the college. During financial year 2021, the revenue of CBE was approximately 1.2 billion compared with 908 million in the previous year. So, they have a ongoing building project. They expected to complete that one in 21-22. As a result, after that they expected to find increase in revenue in 21-22, right, 10% increase, 20% increase in 22-23, 10% annually they are after. Then if you look at the capital expenditure, right, they have given more information about this new building. After constructing this new building, students capacity can be increased by 100%. So, they have used project financing loan of 6 billion for this particular purpose. That loan is dispersed stage wise, that was taken from a state bank at a concerned rate of 8% in 2017-18. Bank has offered a grace period for capital and interest payment, and that one is coming to end in 31st March 2021. Then final disbursement of the loan mentioned will be received CBE at the beginning of financial year 21-22. It is around 1.356 billion. The loan will be repaid in 5 years starting from financial year 2021-22, from 1st of April 2021. This construction of the new building was delayed due to COVID-19, and this could adversely impact the opening of this new building. Then IT information technology. So, they have understood that they have not prepared well for COVID-19 due to lacking of enough digital tool for conducting program online, right. So, therefore, they have planned to invest in integrated digital learning platform. So, when you move to a digital learning platform, there may be evidence that you have some excess employee who can't be used after implementing of this automated digital learning platform. At the same time, you have to come up with new branding strategy to stress about this digital of this education institute. Then finance people also have some issues at the moment. They do not have proper management decision making system. They can't generate the required report. On the other hand, the audit carried out by one of the international university partners revealed serious vulnerabilities related to cyber security and business continuity planning. Then governance issues in family business. Since this is a family business, 60% is owned by family members, directors lack independent expertise to ensure the governance. Chairman expect senior management consult to issue a report with recommendation to address deficiencies in the governance, risk and control. This Jagat's son, who is promoting the listing of CBE, is keen on streamlining the processes and ensuring that the staff is competent enough to effectively discharge their duties. There are some key risks faced by CBE. What are the risks? Lack of finance and risk management experience at board level and lack of independent deliberation on key decisions. Non-adherence to certain partner university regulation and contract, possible non-renewal or termination of affiliation with partner universities, lack of strategic initiative to address increased competition and aggressive price wars, no proper academic quality control measures, lack of standardized operating procedures, lack of an online educational platform, poor involvement of employee in the rebranding proposal put forward by Jagat. Poor involvement of employees in the rebranding proposal put forward by Jagat. Then there are some ethical issues also. So, what are the issues? There are some complaint to the regulatory authority that the standard of CBE have dropped, and it is questionable whether the quality review mechanism are implemented, and if so, whether they are effective, although complaint report are sent once in 2 years to the relevant partner university concerned regarding the effective functioning of quality assurance program. So, they have failed to maintain the required quality standard. So, that is a breach of the condition in the memorandum of understanding. So, that will create negative financial and non-financial repercussion on CBE. Then partner university, what they have done is they have conducted some investigation regarding the breach of terms of MU. They have decided to recruit an assistant manager with work experience to address these quality issues. In the past 3 years, the finance manager has changed twice, and the current finance manager is facing pressure from the directors regarding the accounting recognition of learning management software application developed by externally hired consultant. The finance manager considers speaking to CA Sri Lanka Ethics Hotline to obtain advice on the above issue as well as certain other accounting practices. The lack of investigation and disciplinary action for irregularities alleged and suspect has created a culture that fostered fraud. Then UGC also has received many complaints about this particular institute regarding the course offering by them, right. Then financial information have been given, some financial data. Then if you look at the accounting and finance, CBE currently use 2 application software packages. A bespoke package is used for operation, which was developed by the college a few years ago. That been a customized fund for UO1, right, customized package for the institute. What has happened, the guy who has developed this package has left the CBE. Therefore, they can't do any modification to the system because they don't know the programming applied by that particular programmer. Then they have another software, that is application software, that is used for accounting, that is a tier 2 ERP package. Then the billing and bank reconciliation facilities in the ERP package have not yet been utilized, and the bespoke operation package is not integrated into the ERP system. Despite having an ERP system, the fact that its features have not been fully utilized is a concern Jagat has highlighted in the monthly management committee meeting held at CBE. So, that is one of the issues. Some of the features in the ERP has not been used. The lack of interest to learn the new system features was evident during the deliberation the management has had with the staff. Staff are unwilling to learn these new features. Then management has requested staff to come up with cost reduction initiatives. External audit has few concern about lack of maintaining proper minutes of the meeting of the board of directors. CB not having a proper fixed asset register and also concern regarding the issue with the impairment of debtors during the last year's audit. The Department of Inland Revenue has issued a number of intimation letters for year of assessment 2017-18 and year of assessment 18-19 challenging the deductibility of certain expenses and income sources. See this Inland Revenue Department also has some assessment against this. CB has registered for VAT 10 in BT. Then financial position, statement of financial position has been given. Then 5-year forecast has been given. Financial benchmark, the financial ratios for Education Center PLC are compared similar to CB and East District Columbus Stock Exchange are given below. That is that can be used for valuation purpose the shares of CB. That is more relevant with financial management subject, not for us, because common pre-scene is given normally. Then profile of directors and key management personnel as at 31st March 2021 given. So this Manlada Silva is the chairman. Look at the age 64, right? BSc, MPhil, PhD education. You say PhD also. See, industry experience is 33 years. Lalik Kiran, his friend who joined initially to the company, is having 40% share ownership. He is also 64 years old. BSc, MSc Econ, right? Then Rukmani, that is the wife of him, is age 62, BSc honest, right? Industry experience 31. Jagadish Soisa, that is son. He is executive director, head of business development and international relations, 35 years old, BSc Econ, SIM, UK. Professor B. Arya Singha, Dean Business School, BSc, MSc, PhD entrepreneurships, 33 years experience. Gyan Eleferuma, Dean Computer School, 8 years old, BSc, MSc, 32 years industry experience. Hassan Ali Akbar, head of HR, 37 years old, diploma in HR from IPM, 13 years experience. Kuda Patirana, finance manager, 32 years old, 8 years experience, is just a 80 member. Setu Sundaram, IT manager, 26 years old, diploma in IT, 4 years experience. Asango Alpita, administrative manager, 42 years old, diploma in facilities management, 19 years experience. Then you can see the organized structure. Chairman at the top, then board of directors, executive director, head of academic activities, executive director, head of business development and international relations, that is son, Jagat, right? Finance manager, under the finance manager, assistant accountant, IT manager is there. IT guy is under the finance manager, issues to be considered, no? Right. So that may be a structural issue, right? IT manager under the finance manager, then administrative manager, assistant managers, then administrative executive, head of HR, then HR executives, security manager, security executives. Then under the executive director, head of academic activities, dean business school, dean computer school, senior lecturers, course coordinator, instructors, students, counselors. Right. So actually, so after that, the article has been given about Sri Lanka, right? That was written by Nalaka Jayakodi, Professor Nalaka Jayakodi. So in that, right, this is an annexure actually, right? Annexure is given on this, right? Right. Post pandemic, how Sri Lanka could thrive as an ideal higher education destinations He is talking about how Sri Lanka become a hub, education hub in the world. Here some of the point is given. So it say that Sri Lanka has deal well with the COVID-19. So that's an opportunity, right? But that scenario is not applicable now. It has changed now, right? So Sri Lanka tried to achieve the knowledge hub status for a decade, right? Now it is the right time to work on that, right? So what we can do is we can attract more foreign students, especially we can target neighboring countries, right, like India for example. Then he is talking about overview of the higher education sector in Sri Lanka. Now higher education is expanding rapidly. There are two scenarios, state and non-state. Look at the state sector, there are 15 universities that is normally governed by the university grant commissions. These universities normally can accommodate 31,000 new entrants for a year, right. There are 38 technical college and 8 university college that provide 185,000 placement, total to over 216,000 placement. Normally university are not charging, right, free of charge, they are providing the courses. However, around 150,000, 160,000 students who pass A level each year. So government want to uplift the standard of these education institutes. However, there are some problems we have encountered, for example, delays in policy planning and implementations. Then non-state higher education sector, that means the not government owned one, right, that also has contributed immensely in the past few years. They are not sufficient formal regulatory and standardization in place to regulatory and periodically monitor and maintain compliance and quality in all their teaching and training program. So what happened, so when Sri Lanka became a pre-market economy, many institutions started, right. Then he is talking about how has the global pandemic affected Sri Lanka's higher education sector. So what happened, this COVID-19 affected to education in Sri Lanka, but higher education sector has not been heavily affected compared with the other industry sectors in the country, right. However, you can see some of the delays. Some of the university exam study program have been held presently, right. At that time it was expected those will be resumed very soon, but I think what happened, new technology was used like Zoom, then Microsoft Team and university started lecturing to students. Then many activities and scheduled interest school delay due to pandemic. For example, Cambridge A level was affected, right. So what what this Cambridge decided is to give grade to the students based on the education they have obtained from the school without asking students write the exam, right. Then he is talking how has this crisis turned into an opportunity for Sri Lanka. So if you look at the history, we try to become a knowledge hub, but we fail. We try to promote our educations program to neighboring countries, but chances were low because the students were in those countries prefer to go to this developed countries like USA for example, right. Now this is an opportunity for us, right. Now parents for example that may be opportunity for Sri Lanka, right. So what for example parents may be more willing to enroll in local higher education provider, right. And they may not prefer to see that their kids are going to foreign countries for education purpose, right. So this is an opportunity for Sri Lanka to attract some students from countries like Maldives, Myanmar, Pakistan, Bhutan, India, Nepal and China, right. Then is talking about knowledge and expertise among local academic professional. Now in Sri Lanka we all know that we have people who are highly educated, we can find many Sri Lankan researchers, leaders who are giving their contribution in countries like Australia, UK and US. So internally, right, this writer say that we have the sufficient expertise locally. Lanka what happened in Sri Lanka actually. So what happened, many academics in Sri Lanka go to foreign countries, but right, they are reluctant to come back to Sri Lanka. They prefer to stay in those countries and contribute those countries development, right. So you want to get this this academic back to Sri Lanka. The regulations to monitor the quality of education in both the state and non-state sectors. UGC is one of the institute that right closely monitor. There was some initiative in recent years to introduce Sri Lanka Qualification Framework SLQF. So all these state and non-state universities and education institute want to comply with this one. However, there is no authority to regulatory measure and monitor whether they are comply with this quality assurance system. Therefore, this writer suggesting to have independent quality assurance commission with immediate effect, reporting directly to the highest authority or even the president. So this commission need to physically visit and conduct audit and quality check periodically, preferably at least once a year. There need to be minimum standard introduced to all higher education institutions, including standard for resource personnel, infrastructure facilities, leisure and so on. The present non-state higher education sector need to be strengthened. So you want to establish appropriate monitoring and auditing mechanism. For example, transnational education providers in the country, for example, need to be monitored because we have no idea whether the affiliated universities are reputed or whether the quality of education is up to the adequate and acceptable level. If you want to become, if Sri Lanka want to become knowledge hub, so quality of higher education should be regulated and standardized. Right, he is talking about how Sri Lanka can be more recognized as a knowledge hub both regionally and globally. Sri Lanka is a beautiful island, so our culture is more supportive to visitors, and we have a lot of resources in Sri Lanka. So students may be happy to come country like Sri Lanka. Right. Sri Lanka should focus on new studies stream also. We know that right there are a lot of digital technologies and innovations available nowadays. So, we want to look at about new programs in areas like science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So, it is suggested to develop more and more public private partnership to share their experience and develop a suitable curriculum that is accessible by international requirement. The way forward in realizing these visions, the main objective is to create a conducive and stimulating environment in the higher education sphere of Sri Lanka in order to attract and encourage foreign students at least from the neighbouring countries, which would result in earning significant foreign exchange and contribute to national economic growth and development. So, he is suggesting some proposal on that one. So, quality standard and monitoring need to be strengthened, change existing policies, collaboration and public private partnership should increase, invite high caliber academic core top leadership, road shows and promotion of the sector. These are some of the suggestions suggested by the writer. So, I took very quick time, very few minutes to explain what is unseen, sorry, what is pre-seen, what was the information in the pre-seen analysis, but you can watch that detailed video, then you can get a better idea on this. Right. So, when the examiner has given a pre-seen, you can work on that one, you can do a lot of analysis on that. Actually, in the exam, what happened is most of the questions are based on this pre-seen. Relevance of unseen is very minimum, right. Therefore, you have to work with this pre-seen. I will show you. So, what I have done last time on this. So, what I have done is I have developed a SWOT analysis. I conduct a 5 forces analysis, pestle analysis, diamond theory applications, leadership approach, then HR and other issues and recommendations. I identify what are the issues, HR issues given in the scenario, a lot of there actually. Then I identify recommendations, appropriate recommendation also on that. Then I try to apply that one with product life cycle and BCG metrics. Then I try to apply with the answer product market expansion grid. Porter's generic strategies, I apply Porter's generic strategies. Then I came to conclusion that ideal strategy is differentiation focus. Then marketing mix, I apply the information given with the 7 P's marketing mix, 7 P applications. Then I did a financial analysis. These are some of the analysis you can do. This is an example. Based on the pre-seen, I have done these analysis last time, right. So, I will show you why this is very important. Now, if you look at the questions, look at the part B. Evaluate the possibility of applying the differentiation focus strategy by CB by explaining the Porter's 3 generic strategies. Look at my analysis here. I have done the same analysis. Right, I have done the same analysis. This was done to Sri Lanka last time. Right, analysis. So, here do this. Look at what I have done. Porter's generic strategies, I have analyzed these 3 strategies, then I make a conclusion that differentiation focus is the ideal strategy. Now, it say, so he is clearly telling appropriate strategy differentiation focus, and by explaining the Porter's 3 generic strategies. See, 8 mark was covered from that analysis. Then C part 2 explain how it can be operationalized using the marketing mix 7 P's. It can be operationalized using the marketing mix 7 P's. Uh, 7P. Look at this marketing mix 7 P's. I have done that analysis also, see. Marketing mix 7 P's. So, 10 mark, 18 has covered. Look at the part D. Assess 4 human resource issues related to CBE and recommend an appropriate strategy to overcome each of them. 8 marks, right. So, see, I have done that analysis also. HR and other issues and recommendations. Issue, recommendations. So, here I have identified that one. Even if you look at about this mock exam conducted, you can see I have specifically identified the HR issues. See this J part, right, discuss the human resource practice of CBE and suggest a strategy for better performance of CBE, right. So, India specifically identify this HR matters. So, what I am asking you is to work on this when free scene is given. Now, I will show you 8, how many mark, 18, 26. 26 out of 50 were already analyzed by ourselves before the exam. So, when within the exam it is tested, so you can easily develop the answer, since you have already done that one previously, right. So, then I will look at about the unseen part given. So, you know what is happening under the unseen. So, more information is given, right, more information is given to that may be extension of the information given under the pre-scene. So, we look at about this unseen part. In addition to the information provided in the pre-scene in connection to College of Business Education Private Limited CBE, you are provided with the following additional informations. Sri Lanka, being a knowledge hub in the Asian region, has introduced many intellectuals and scholars to the world. Thus, the country has a good reputation in the education industry. Therefore, the demand for such intellectual from Sri Lanka is also at a very high level. This is evident by the top level position held by Sri Lankan in other countries. I think that was there in the pre-scene also, right. So, he has given that point again. However, it is also evident that although we have been demand for such top level position, the ability and agility to supply qualitative human resource have been always been problematic and questionable. The main reason is that owing to current facilities, the higher education sector, state university in Sri Lanka is not sufficient to cater to every student who qualify their GCE level. Look at this point. The main reason is that owing to current facilities, the higher education sector, state universities in Sri Lanka is not sufficient to cater to every student who qualifies their GCE levels. However, the private sector recognized this opportunity and got involved in the industry to bridge the gap in demand. Currently, both sectors have an almost equal contribution to higher education, with the only considerable difference being the price of educations. Now, he is talking about A level, right. So, after the A levels, many people, right, are unable to go to universities due to this limited opportunities available, right. Due to prevailing pandemic situation in the whole world, the education sector has started to face great issues. The normal face-to-face contact of a lecturer and class of students is now considered risk. Policymakers and strategists who are involved in the higher education industry are keen to find solution to avoid delays in conducting lessons, enable timely assessment to take place and finally allow their students to graduate. Remote teaching has become a focus of many institutions under the new normal. In the meantime, the government of Sri Lanka has presented the budget for 2021. It has focused on improving the quality of the higher education sector with the following allocations. So, absorb a greater number of students to higher educations after they complete their GCE level, right. So, that is one thing, you want to provide higher education for students who have completed GCE level. So, that means the graduate program opportunity may be there for graduate program mainly, no, right. Invest more on information technology in the higher education sector. So, government want to invest more on information technology in the higher education sector. Introduce the Sri Lanka quality framework as a mandatory requirement for all education institutes. Introduce loans for students at special interest rate and payment method in order for them to do their higher education, especially in private institutions. They want to provide loan facility for students. Then invest more on research and development in the higher education sector. Invest more on research and development in the higher education sector. Then paying attention to above budget highlight, the management CB has decided to apply the opportunity to expand the business operation. The company is in the need for knowledge transmission from the top to the bottom and thoughtful change in its strategy related to its corporate level, marketing, human resource and information technology. Look at that one, the company is in the need for knowledge transmission from the top to the bottom and thoughtful change in its strategy, its corporate level, marketing, human resource and information technology. Assume that you have been appointed as a consultant to CBE, the company's board of directors expect you to answer the following questions. So, there are 7 questions, right. Part A, discuss the importance of knowledge transmission for the success of CBE using the 4 ways in which knowledge is transmitted described by Nonaka and Takushi. Nonaka and Takushi, that they offer that Seki, right, model, right, Seki model. So, he is asking you to discuss on this Seki model, right. So, how can we apply this Seki model, right. So, first of all, look at about the theory part related with this one. Right. So, what they have identified is called Seki model. So, Nonaka and Takushi identify 4 ways in which knowledge is transferred. First one is socializations. This is the informal process by which individuals share and transmit their tacit knowledge. Look at that one. Socialization means informal process by which individuals share and transmit their tacit knowledge, right. So, normally individuals share experience in conversations, right. So, what happened, for example, you say experienced employee knowledge, that is tacit knowledge of experienced employee may be given to new employee, right, maybe during the lunchtime discussions or maybe in a meeting he will share their experience, right. Through that this new guy get new tacit knowledge, right. tacit knowledge of experienced employee is shared to new employee, then he get that one, that become his tacit, right. So, individual share experience in conversations, right. If you look at about socialization strategy, do you have opportunity to apply socialization strategy for the given scenario? What do you think, right? If you look at about the pre-scene information given, right, pre-scene information given, if you look at about the employee information given, so look at so many experienced guys are there at the board level. For example, if you look at about Manila, he is having 33 years, Lalit also same, Rukmali 31 years, Professor B. Arya Singh 33 years, Gihan, head of computer school, 32 years experience, right. So, they have so much experience in the industry, right. So, but we can assume that they will not stay so longer, right. So, their knowledge should be transferred to these young generations. Therefore, they have to identify some method of transferring that to these young people. For example, probably some of the meeting discussions, you can add some knowledge sharing sessions, right, very informal sessions, right, friendly manner, you can discuss the matters, right. So, you can apply this first method, right. Then the second one is externalization. What is externalization? This is converting tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge. This is difficult process to organize and control. For example, explicit knowledge means knowledge is widely available, openly available for everyone, right. So, now how this tacit knowledge can be convert into a exhibit knowledge, right. So, for example, right, what they can do is they can ask this experienced employee to prepare some policy documents or procedure documents, or maybe some booklet, right, some academic books that tell about some of the right knowledge areas, right. So, then these young guys, what they can do is, these young guys can learn by seeing that one. For example, head of IT, he can come up with a right booklet explaining all these IT things in the organizations. So, that will be right useful for these young guys to learn, right. When these guys leave, right, since it is mentioned that high labor turnover is there, so the young guys will struggle actually if there are no documents to go through, but if documents are available, so what they can do is right, they can right look at them and learn, right. So, externalizations. Then internalizations, what is internalizations? This is the learning process by which individuals acquire explicit knowledge and turn it into their own tacit knowledge. So, that means you, for example, you say you read some of the operational manual available or procedure manual available, then get that one into your head, that is internalizations, right, right. So, if you look at about these organizations, I think right, many people are leaving within short period of time, therefore, right, so there may not have enough chance to get these things, right. So, therefore, right, I think that is an area I think they have to work hard. First of all, I think they should have defined a methodology to keep some of the employee within the organizations. Then combinations, this is bringing together separate element of exhibit knowledge into larger, more coherent systems such as compressed knowledge management system management report. So, now actually if you look at about this scenario, digitalizations, for example, They have just started digitalizations. Within the organization also they have two system. I think they have given some information. We'll check that one. They mentioned about two different system available. IT system. So at the moment they don't have this fully integrated digital tool, but they want to they are planning to invest in integrated digital learning platform. So that will be an opportunity for them to use this combination options, combinations options, what they can do is through that one they can combine the knowledge together, they can combine the knowledge together. Then I think they mentioned about some of the IT system also. Two different IT systems they have mentioned. Yeah, see, accounting finance India may mention that so they have two application for packages. One is bespoke package for operations, then other one is application software for accounting, They are isolated packages, not integrated packages. So what you can do is you can introduce some integrated packages. For example, we'll say like ERP system can be introduced, So then that will be useful for this organizations, right. So 10 marks. So we analyze this 4 with the given scenario, shall we check whether our analysis is matched with examiner's analysis? So he is talking about theory 4 methods, then he is going to explain each one. So socializations. So look at the socializations. This is the informal process by which individuals share and transmit their tacit knowledge. Individuals share experience in conversations, So that is the theory part. Then what examiner said, therefore the top management of CBE need to think about socializing the knowledge that they have based on their experience in the industry. According to the profile of the directors and dean, most of them have more than 30 years of industry experience. So we found the same thing, Especially family members of the company, they are well qualified when compared to other management staff. Therefore, it is very important to transmit their tacit knowledge through conversation with the other staff, other management staff. To capitalize the opportunities identified through the budget guideline of the country, the top management discussion and knowledge sharing are vital, especially those related to study development. So we suggest the similar things. Further, since 3 out of 4 directors of the company are in 60s and Lalit intend to sell his CB share, transmission knowledge is vital for business continuity. So we identify the same things. So most of them are near into retirement age, therefore it is important to transfer their knowledge. Then externalizations, this is converting tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge. Unfortunately, this is a complicated process to organize and control. Even though this is difficult, the top management need to think of something to externalize their knowledge in the education industry, as the other managers do not have that much experience. Also, they work for CB as employees, and the dedication and commitment toward the organization would not be as much as that of the founders. Therefore, these employees need proper guidance and motivation from the founders of CB, for that they can think about different method of externalizing knowledge. One of the ways, actually, he is not suggesting here, examiner is not suggesting, ask this experienced employee to prepare policy manual, then procedure manual. So that is one of the best way to convert this tacit knowledge of them into a explicit knowledge, right? You can suggest that one, right? There is a high turnover among the finance and IT staff of the company. Academic staff also receive scholarship to pursue a master's or doctoral program. Therefore, it is very important to externalize their knowledge before they leave the organizations. Yes, right. Then internalizations. This is a learning process by which individual acquire explicit knowledge and turn it into a tacit knowledge. For example, reading manual and then get into a head, right. The employees especially need to be motivated to create knowledge based on the knowledge that they have gathered through the business. This is also a process based on employee morale and commitment toward the organizations. According to HR issues highlighted in the case study, this internalization of knowledge is not happening at CBU currently. Example, lack of written policy generally at the college has led to a non-standardization of many processes. Employees are subject to an annual informal appraisal system where the performance is not linked and evaluated to the KPI. Fraud brought to the choices of the management related to revenue assurance and collaborations, collection, lack of experience of the finance and IT control, no proper academic quality control measures. As internalization knowledge is not there. So, if they have the required knowledge, these things may not happen, right. So, you should find some way of doing that. The combinations, this is bringing together separate element of exhibit knowledge into larger, more coherent system such as computerized knowledge management system. Now, here see that definition, this is bringing together separate element of exhibit knowledge into larger, more coherent system such as computerized knowledge management system. Expert system and data mining and management report. This is one of the significant areas the management can think, as the government is also encouraging technology and R&D, and new computerized system can be developed based on exhibit knowledge. In the COVID-19 pandemic also open path for virtual platform. Knowledge must be gathered to create new platform for the education industry support remote learning. Yes, sir, that point was given. I think you can mention that point. So, they have mentioned that they are lacking about this integrated IT system. So, this digital platform. So, you can mention that one. There is a requirement to get this this digital platform, integrated digital platform for the organization. So, that is one of the way I think, right, integrated digital learning platform. You can use this combination as aspects. Right. So, look at this what the examiner say. The above is a sample solutions. Above is sample solution, and candidate may come up with other different point to highlight the importance of each type of knowledge transmission. Marks were awarded depending on the relevance of the answer. This is only a sample, right. You can provide more valid point. Right. So, with that we can complete that. Right. Then we can move to the part B of the questions. Part B of the questions. So, we look at the part B of the questions. As Jagat is very keen on bringing CB into the Dirisavi board, he has studied several competitive strategies in developing the business further. He then came across the differentiation focus strategy described under Porter's three generic strategies and believe it to be possible option for the company. He think differentiation focus is the possible options, right. Evaluate the possibility of applying differentiation focus strategy by CB by explaining the Porter's three generic strategies. Now, here what is your task? And evaluate the possibility of applying the differentiation focus strategy by CBE by explaining Porter's three generic strategies. Now, Jagat is suggesting the differentiation focus is the best strategy, right. So, you have to tell whether it is an appropriate decision. So, by looking about the Porter's three generic strategies, right. So, very popular theory, Porter's generic strategies, right. So, first of all, we will look at about the Porter's generic strategies, theory aspects. Right. Porter's generic strategies. Right. So, he is suggesting differentiation focus strategy. Now, what we have to do is we have to evaluate the possibility of applying differentiation focus strategy by CB by explaining the Porter's three generic strategies. Right. What are generic competitive strategies? So, generic mean common, no. So, Porter say that these strategies can be used commonly, right. So, irrespective of the industry you can use these strategies. So, there is no limitation on that. So, Porter has suggested there are three generic business strategies: cost leadership, differentiation, focus. So, he identifies three generic strategy: cost leadership, differentiation, focus. As for the Porter, you can't run all these strategies parallelly. So, at a particular moment you can use only one particular strategy, right. So, normally this strategy is helpful to get a competitive advantage to the organizations. Right. So, these are the three strategies Porter suggesting us. One option is to use cost leadership strategy. So, what is cost leadership strategy? Is this means being the lowest cost producer in the industry as a whole. So, what we are trying to do is we are trying to become the lowest cost producer in the industry. So, when we are the lowest cost producer, what we can do in the market, we can offer the good at the lowest price to the customers. That is one option, right. Now, here if you look at the questions, it say we have to look at about three strategic alternatives, right. What do you think? So, is this possible options? Can we use cost leadership strategy? can we offer education product at the lowest price to the market? That is not a feasible option. Why I am saying it is not a feasible option? If you look at about this government part, right? We will see if you find the thing. Look at this one. If you look at about this overview of the higher education sector in Sri Lanka, but it say that it talk about government sector, right? The overall higher education system in the country is expanding rapidly. There are two scenarios here, state and non-state. We are coming under non-state, right? When it comes to the state sector, there are presently 15 universities that come under the purview of the University Grant Commission. These universities accommodated places for 31,000 new entrants last year, including in the subject area of medicine, engineering and law. In addition to 4 other state universities, there are 38 technical colleges and 18 university colleges that provide over 185,000 placement, totaling to over 116,000 placement, including university provide completely free of charge annually. Right. You know that universities provide the education free of charge. Therefore, it is not practical for us to come up with right. It is not practical for us to apply cost leadership strategy. So, we can't become the lowest cost producer, and we can't offer the good at the zero cost, right. Therefore, the cost leadership may not be appropriate strategy for these organizations, right. Cost leadership is not appropriate strategy. Then look at our next one, differentiations. What differentiations? This is the creation of factors that make a product different and so more attractive than rival products. The industry as a whole believe the product to be unique, right. That means we are going to offer a unique product to the marketplace. Our product is having unique attribute, same can't be found from others, right. So, in the broad market, we are trying to apply differentiations. What do you think about the free scene given? Do we have the opportunity to apply differentiations strategy? We will check about our informations. Right here, they have given the product portfolio. The main product service offered by CB are given below. Undergraduate, postgraduate, professional short courses. The revenue percentage also given. What is normally expected, right? Have they given any information about competitors? So, we will see with this unseen information whether they have given more information. Here if you look at about this one, here say this however the private sector recognized this opportunity and got involved in the industry to bridge the gap in demand. So, that means there are some private sector universities available, right. What do you think on this one? So, if you go to the marketplace, can you find more private sector universities Do we have more private sector universities available? Yes, there are so many private sector universities available. At the same time, so many government universities available. So therefore, right, it's not easy to offer completely differentiated product to the marketplace. So others also have similar products, right. Then focus is focus right, focus involves restriction of activities to only part of the market. So under the focus strategy, we are not going to operate in the whole country, right. For example, instead what we are going to do is we are trying to identify a selected segment. We are not going to cater to the whole industry, right. What we are going to do is we are going to identify a segment, selected segment from the market. Within a selected segment, you can use two strategies, either cost leadership or differentiation can be used in the selected segment, right. Selected segment. So first one, providing good and or services at lower cost to that segment, that is one option. What we can do is in the selected segment we can offer the good at the lowest price, right. That is one option. Then other option is providing differentiated product or service to that segment, differentiation focus. For the selected segment, we are going with a right. We are going to offer a differentiated product for the selected segment, right. Cost focus may not be practical, right. It is not practical to offer the good at the lowest price because state universities are available, right. So the appropriate strategy may be to offer differentiated product or service to that segment, right. So differentiation focus may be more appropriate for this particular organizations, right. Even actually I show you that free scene analysis I have done at present, right. What is the strategy they apply? Look at about that one. Right. So differentiation focus is the ideal strategy for them actually. So therefore, so what is recommended by Jagat is correct. So better to use the differentiation focus strategy. The first two are not practical at all, right. Then the third one, this focus strategy, cost focus is not practical for this organization. So therefore, recommended to use the differentiation focus strategy for this particular organizations, right. Right. So we will check what the examiner say on this. And cost leadership. What he is telling on this cost leadership? This means be the lowest cost producer in the industry. This strategy is not suitable for CV. In Sri Lanka, government universities provide free education. We also identify the same facts, no. Since government universities provide the education free of charge, it's not practical to apply the cost leaderships. The differentiations are the creation of factors that make a product different and therefore more attractive than rival products. The industry as a whole believe the product is unique. CB cannot totally differentiate education programs since there are so many education institutions, both private and public, that offer the same degree in the market. It is not practical to differentiate since there are so many similar programs are available. In focus strategy, what is focus strategy? Focus involves a restriction of activities to only part of the market through providing goods and services at a lower cost to that segment, or providing differentiated product or service to that segment. Differentiation focus. Right. Focus involves a restriction of activities to only part of the market, a segment through providing goods and or service at a lower cost to that segment, cost focus, or providing differentiated product or service to that segment. Yes, two options are there. One is cost focus, other one is differentiation focus. Right. So differentiation focus is more appropriate for them. As CB is catering to the higher education industry in Sri Lanka, it is currently applying the focus strategy. Yes, therefore, deviating from that strategy is not recommended, and CB need to capitalize on the opportunities by being in the same segment. However, cost focus strategy would not work here, as Sri Lanka has the state sector university that offer external degree at a very low price than the private sector. That's true. No, cost focus is not appropriate for them. Therefore, the main strategy that CB can go with is the differentiation focus strategy. If CB can come up with an advanced learning management system with minimum risk to users and user-friendly learning environment that can support remote learning, it will help CB immensely to capture the segment by differentiating them from the rest of the players in the education system. So they can come up with this right e-learning solutions, digitalized options, right, that will help them to differentiate themselves from others. The government is also supporting research and development in higher education, and thus can easily use the focus segment to differentiate CB from the rest, as they are already popular in R&D in the education sector. Also, government is keen on getting international students to Sri Lanka as it generates foreign currency. A remote learning platform will therefore help CB a lot. It can also be taken as a positioning strategy of CB. Yes, this learning platform is identified as the focus differentiation strategy. Right, through that you try to differentiate the product from others. Right. So with that we can complete that area. Then we can move to the part C. Right, part C, we look at the part C. There are two parts are there. Part 1. So what? Part 1. Assess the most suitable market segment for CB's undergraduate program. See the most suitable target market and develop positioning map for the target market. Assess the most suitable market for CB's undergraduate program. See the most suitable target market and develop a positioning map for the target market you selected. Right. So what are the segment you can have for undergraduate programs? Right. Right. We'll first of all we'll try to identify the segment, appropriate segment. Do we have information given here? At GCA level, no? Yes, GCA level students, we can target this graduate program. What are the options under the graduate programs? We will go to the unseen part, pre-seen part. So here we will see whether we can find some information. It's undergraduate. Postgraduate is not practical, no, provisional also not practical, short courses may not be practical. right. What we can suggest on this one? Right. So, do they have provided the information on this one? Undergraduate education, postgraduate educations. Right. Maybe few options, right. Here we will say we will look at about this graduate options, no, A-level students who want to become a graduate, right. So, programs is the most suitable market for CBC undergraduate program. So, there may be few options, right. One option is we will say degree program which are offered by ourselves. That may be one options, not affiliated with any of the universities in the foreign countries, right. So, whole 4 years they will stay with us and complete the degree, UGC approval one, right. Another option probably maybe 2 years will say, for example, cover the program in Sri Lanka. So, we conduct the program with affiliate with another party, then the balance 2 years they may get the balance part in a foreign country, right. So, that may be 2 options available, right. More suitable target market, I think possibly will say most possibly will say the per segment, right, per segment the degrees of without affiliating with the any third parties. Positioning map, do you remember what is positioning map? You remember, we will say positioning map. Yes, what is positioning map? Here what we try to do is we try to identify gap, no, right, through a positioning map. So, here what we can take, so we can take the same scenario, similar scenario. For example, here we can have low price program, high price program, right, then low quality, high quality, low quality, high quality, and we can use a similar one actually, similar one. So, where we can cover ourselves, where we can cover ourselves. So, I think around this high price, high quality, no, not low quality, should be high quality, right. We should cover under the high quality, then high price. So, similar to this area actually. The premium example is there, no, this group area actually we have to target high price, high quality options, and not low price, low quality option. We should target high price, high quality option 1, right. So, so, if we try to show this one on the board, right, shall I show that one on the board? I am going to draw similar one given in your study text, right. Here we will say low price, say here we will say high price, then we will say here low quality, here we will say high quality, right. So, these options may not be feasible, right. So, possibly this low quality option may not be available, not feasible, right. Here also the low price also not our part, no. High quality low price option is not practical, these areas are not practical actually, right. So, not practical, so we have to find option here, most probably we will say here like that, area like this, right, high quality, or area like this, maybe more feasible option for us. So, we will offer high price, high quality product to the marketplace. Right. So, shall we look at what the examiner say on the same? Right. There are many segments the candidate could have highlighted in their answers. Yes, I have identified two options. One is affiliated degree program, other one is our own program. Right. We will see what the examiner has identified. You say that there are two major segments. Right. First one is undergraduate programs leading to masters. Right. So, leading to masters, profile students who have passed A level with minimum S passes for all three subjects in any stream in Sri Lanka, and students who are qualified to follow the undergraduate program from other countries, both Sri Lankan people and the other countries, right. Age 1925, geographical location, if a learning management system is going to be introduced, the location is not an issue, so can target the whole island and also students from other countries, especially from the Asian region, right. We will look at this segment 2, undergraduate program leading to masters, similar, we will say profile is difference, no. So, who have passed A level with minimum S passes for all three subjects in stream in Sri Lanka, students who are qualified for undergraduate program from other countries, but have not continued their studies after A level for many years as they had started working in industry. These people need education qualification for their career development, so their prime motive to get a degree and not to gain knowledge. Age group is difference here. Here age group is 25 to 40. Examiner has identified two different age group. First one 1925, then 25 to 40. Right. Then geographical locations, if a learning management system is going to be introduced, the location is not an issue, right. So, can target the whole island and all students from other countries, especially from the Asian regions. Based on the above segment, candidate could have identified one or two all the segment as target market. However, candidate could have selected the age group 1925, these students are just after their A level, needs to handle. Yes, 1925 area is the best one, no. Also, their prime motive is to still with education, so it is easy to target them to convert them into students of CBE. The positioning strategy can be used as follows: reasonable cost with higher service quality, or user friendly remote learning with higher service quality. Yes, so see, examiner has identified similar one: high service quality, then high price. See, in that scenario, he has identified that one, right. not in low price, low service quality, or low price, high service quality, or low service, high price segment, similar to what we have identified. Right. He has given some other alternative also, usable remote learning, then high service, physical learning, low service quality, usable remote learning and high service metric he has identified. Two options have been given by the examiner. So, we identify is similar to the first one, right. Our answer was similar to the first one, right. Right. Then shall we move to part 2 of that, part C. Part C, explain how it can be operationalized using the marketing mix 7 P's, right. How 7 P's can be used on this, right. So, you know about 7 P's. So, what is the first one? 7 P's, that is products, no. First one is product, right. Right. So, here, so what is the product we can offer? For example, right, we can offer online product to the students. Now, we are in a pandemic situation, therefore, we can offer right, online product to the students, right. Then, so here we can use LMS. Here we are trying to offer integrated digitalized system to give better right facility for students. At the moment, actually, we have how many courses? 4 courses, no? Undergraduate, postgraduate, professional education, short courses, right? So, in relation to that, right, we can right, those are part of the right products actually, right, products. Then but the next one is pricing. So, what are the options we available? Normally, we charge from the students, not a free of charge, right. So, normally what are the options we can give? Now, I think we can even consider about this loan scheme for students, because this government it is given that introduce loan for students as special interest rate and payment method in order to them to do their higher education. So, you can allow students to make right installment wise by obtaining loan from banks, for example, right, installment wise option can be given to the students, right, that is one possible options. Then promotions, what are the options we can go for promotions? Advertising will be the number one way, especially you can cover newspaper advertisement. There may be some direct marketing campaigns, for example, letters, email, SMS, right, you can use those things, right, advertising, sales, promotions, right. Then social media campaign may be another options, right, you can use nowadays very popular, right, social media like FB, right, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn. So, those are some of the example. Even person selling maybe organized wise, you can try to cover this person selling options. A place, now whatever the place actually, place now right, students do not want to come physically to participate for the courses. What they can do is they can stay at home and right, participate for the courses because of this online option. So, remote option is available, right. Then in addition to this one, there are 3 other variable for the services. What are the 3 additional things which come under services? You know that one, you look at about that one. 3 additional things. People, processes and physical evidence. Right. So, people is one, right. What is people? So, what are the things you can cover here? For example, lecturers come under the peoples. So, you can have good lecturers who have the required competence to deliver. Not only that one, even the other staff members, there is a high labor turnover. So, you can have methodology to keep these people, right. Lecturers, right. Then highly qualified people, then processors. So, what are the processors involved here, right. For example, registration processes, it should be very easy one. Online registration, for example, is not be a cumbersome process for students. Then I will say TUTS processors, TUT downloading will be much easier for students to download, right, processors. Then physical evidence, what are the physical evidence you can find, what are the example, right, physical evidence. For example, website, they can have attractive website for these organizations, right. Then they can have right good physical appearance on the branches. They can specially use this new building also. They can include the new features in the new building, right. The modern equipment can be used with the new building. They can design in that way, right. Then even in the branches, they can have a nice environment, very friendly air conditions, right. Students feel very comfortable in those spaces because they have 7 branches, right. So, they can use this one also, right. So, we cover 7 P's also. So, what the examiner tell on this, right. Product, you say existing product need to be aligned with the positioning strategy. Does CB need to change all lecturing into online delivery method until things return to normal with the COVID-19 pandemic? Yes, it is not possible to have physical lectures, no. Also, after normalizing the situation, CB can think of a combination of remote and physical learning, as it make it convenient for students to attend lectures. Yes, after right normalized situation, you can think about this mixture of lecturing. Blended method can be applied. As the major revenue generator is professional accessible education, most of the students are working while they are studying. Remote learning might be more helpful to them. Then introducing user-friendly learning management system. All the program need to be aligned to match the SLQF requirement. You have to introduce LMS, no. So, pricing, existing prices program can be changed, as the government is going to introduce a loan scheme for students who wish to follow higher education. This will be an excellent opportunity to attract more students as well. Also, operation cost will be very low when online delivery start, that the current pricing can be changed to get more numbers in. CB can focus on value based pricing method rather than going with the competitive based pricing. So, they may be able to reduce the price due to these online options. Because most of the overheads are coming down. As a special price can be introduced to companies if they commit to send a specified number of their employees to do the higher studies by sponsoring them. You can give discount price for them, right. In place, if online delivery can be encouraged and introduced properly, CB can manage all the operation easily within the main branch. So, the major cost involved in maintaining other branches can also be reduced. However, a small place may be needed to handle operation issues in some of the areas, then CB can eliminate those branches with minimum staff and floor place. Yes, online education, there is no requirement to continue with some of the branches. Promotions, need to increase the marketing communications of CBE, which can promote remote learning and high quality service standard. In this situation, CB can use advertising special newspaper and magazine ad, direct marketing campaign, letters, email and SMS sent directly to Sri Lankan students who have passed their A levels, sponsorships, that is another options, right. Then social media campaign, right, like FB, LinkedIn, Twitter, then TikTok, right, YouTube. Personal selling, a special team can be formed and sent to company, introduce them to these degrees as a reward method for their employees. People, the people factor is significant as CB is going to position itself as a high quality service provider. The attitude performance of employee play a big role here. However, the current situation does not support CB as some of the employees do not have enough experience and market knowledge. Also, the delivery of the program is heavily dependent on the lecturers. Thus, recruit the best lecturers in Sri Lanka will immensely help to position CB as TAN. You have to get the best lecturers. Starting a service center with 2 or 3 employees to resolve issues and handle inquiries will also help in developing relation with the stakeholders. So, they suggested to introduce some service center to deal with the students' problems actually, right, to deal with the students' problems, right. Then physical evidence, apart from the physical appearance of the main branch, the website and LMS are also critical for civil. Remote learning is now encouraged. So, you can have a good facilities in the new building especially, right. Then next one, if CB can develop good brand guideline, line up its architectural design and colors accordingly, the same thing can be practiced in the other branches. This would develop a uniqueness which will help in recalling CB in the mind of the stakeholders. Then processors, what tell about the processors, right. Processors, from registration, issuing result and graduations, the process need to be very smooth, clear and transparent. So, also the process need to be very quick and should avoid delays as companies very quick in the higher education sector, right. Then part D. Part D is very simple, it is not difficult one. Look at the part D, assess 4 human resource issues, right, 4 human resource issues relating to CBE, recommend an appropriate strategy to overcome each of them. Actually, from the pre-scene actually we found lot of issues, no, right. They have mentioned a lot of issues, human resources here, see, right. So, high turnover among the finance and IT staff, right. Then alleged fraud, lack of work-life balance, nearly 70% of the staff are male, there is no formal appraisal system, informal appraisal system is there, a lack of written policies in the college, right. So, issues are there actually. So, very simple, it is not difficult one. Even if you look at about the analysis I have done, I have identified those issues. See here, right. See this, for example, high turnover of the finance and IT staff, what should be the recommendations? Proper compensation system and other motivational program. So, there are some fraud matters, better to have discipline code, take strict action for discipline breaches, introduce corporate ethics codes, a lack of work-life balance, right. provide awareness to employee about the importance of work-life balance, recruit employees, introduce of coaching and mentoring program, introduce of meditation and yoga program, no equal job opportunity for female, provide equal job opportunity for both male and female candidate. There is no proper performance management system, induction of KPI based performance management system, introduce of performance based incentive system, develop organized wide policy and standard operating procedures. There is no proper succession plan, talent management succession planning, right. So, we have identified similar one based on the pre-seen informations. So, this is not a difficult one, you can easily find the answer. You look at what the examiner say on this. See, he has identified a similar one, right. So, only 4 issues you want to identify. First one, high turnover among the finance and IT staff. So, what is the strategy? Recruitment, appraisal and motivations, right. So, you have to have a proper motivation system for these employees. Board notice of the management related revenue assurance and collections. So, here what is the solution they are giving? No proper use of the ERP system, yes, that was given, no, and thus need to change management system, convert the mindset of employee to use the ERP system as much as possible, right. Rethink the pay and rewards management system again, right. So, yes, apply of ERP may be helpful you to reduce the frauds. Nearly right, 70% of the staff are male, no need to maintain balance between gender, but can think about this along with the structure. You can encourage female recruitment, that is one of the possible strategy. Then employees are subject to an annual informal appraisal system. Very simple answer on that one. Proper and formal appraisal system need to be introduced and linked to the KPIs. A lack of written policies in general in the college has led to non-standardized of many processes. Policy need to be written and appropriate documents so that the newcomers can easily adhere to the general guideline of the organization. Develop policies and procedures, very simple. Certain program had been rolled out without the stringent evaluation and approval process by experienced academic panel. Role of the academic staff have not been appropriately defined, and thus the program are not developed properly. HR planning and forecasting are required. No proper academic quality control measures, appraisal and motivations, lack of experience of finance and IT controllers. The recruitment selection process need to be tough. So, you have to get the right qualified people for this one. Lack of qualification of the management team. For example, that accountant is having only 8, So, again recruitment selection process need to be tough, right. That is what examiner say, it is equivalent to our answer. Right. Then part E, describe the development that can be done for CB, especially using cloud and mobile technology. Cloud and mobile technology, we discuss on the technology part, we look at about that. Cloud and mobile technology. Yes, cloud and mobile technology. What are the cloud options available for us? Private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, right, cloud and mobile technology, right. Private cloud, public cloud, you know the difference. Private cloud mean we are going to have our own data center, right. Public cloud, we are going to use a third party facility, right, via internet. Hybrid mean mixture of that one. So, we will say small capacity we are having internal one data center. When the capacity is exceeding, we store that one in a third party locations, that is hybrid cloud. Then cloud service categories, infrastructure as a service, IaaS, platform as a service, software as a service, right. Here platform as a service may not be suitable for these organizations, because it is used for software development purpose mainly. Infrastructure as a service, yes, they can use that one. So what they can do is, they without purchasing the required IT infrastructure, they can get a service, get the required IT infrastructure from a third party, right. Then software as a service also available. For example, for a certain things they can use, for example, Microsoft Office packages, they can get under this SaaS arrangement. From these three options, what is more appropriate? Public cloud may not be suitable, because they are dealing with the exam, it is more confidential sometime. So it is better to have private cloud, right, not the public cloud and the hybrid cloud, right. Right. So shall we look at about the examiner's answer also? So what he is telling, right, cloud computing can be deployed as private, public and hybrid model. However, the industry is related to education, and thus the security of data transfer through the cloud is must. A private cloud is recommended here to ensure the safety of data, especially data related to marketing and payment. Yes, private cloud is recommended. That is the conclusion we also made. Also, there are three major categories in cloud computing an organization can think of. They are infrastructure as a service, IaaS, platform as a service, PaaS, software as a service, SaaS. Among these, IaaS more suitable, as IaaS provide virtual server instance and storage, as well as application program interfaces that enable users to migrate workload to virtual machine. Since Microsoft also provide IaaS, it is easier to assess and maintain. Also, it is more cost effective than developing an ERP solution for CB separately. Due to rapid increase in smartphone usage among the Sri Lankan younger generation, these applications can also be easily accessed via mobile. So it provides user friendliness and easy access, which will make students' life more convenience. Yes, infrastructure as a service, IaaS can be recommended. In addition to that one, I recommend software as a service also. For example, it's a Microsoft Office Word, and you can use the software as a service package, right. SaaS application can be used for that purpose, right. So you can mention that point also, right. Shall we move to the final part of the questions? Determine the structural change need to be done in the company to develop its IT arm, right. So what do you think about that one? Do we want to do any structural changes that need to be done in the company to develop its IT arm? No need to do any changes. What do you think? There are some issues, no, right. What are the issues? If you remember, at the beginning also we identified that one when you look at the structure. Now look at this one. IT manager is reporting the finance manager. Now this IT will play an important role, especially when you are trying to introduce a digital platform. So what should be the first thing you have to do? So you have to, right, establish separate IT divisions, right, equivalent to this middle level manager. So IT manager should be promoted as a middle level manager. So under IT manager, you have to right, establish a separate division in the organizations. So that is the number one thing I think they have to do under the structural changes, right. So that is recommended. I think you may agree with my point. Here see this IT guy, IT manager is reporting to finance manager. So in a small organization this can happen where IT is not playing a key role, but in this organization IT is playing a key role. So therefore, so he should be identified separately, separate division should be formed, right. right. We will see what the examiner say on this one. At CB, the IT section is under the finance manager, therefore it can be recommended to separate and start at a different function under an IT director. If CB is going to manage its operation more on IT platform, this movement will be more effective. Also, the IT manager is not an experienced or well qualified in the field, therefore no recruit is needed to handle the IT section. Right. So, definitely he is suggesting to establish a separate section. If since IT manager is not qualified guy, he is recommending to get some external persons, recruitment, external guy should be recruited. CB can also think of joining a firm specialized in technology and share its profit with them. Since the Lalit also like to sell his shares, CB can think of negotiating with an IT firm. That is other option, third party option. So, since we are trying to offer digitalized of solution to the students, you can join with another party, right? You can invite another party to join this IT organization, join with us to provide the required digital platform. Right? There is another options, right? The government is also keen on developing R&D in higher educations. The IT section of CB can play a vital role. It is provided with the necessary backing from the top management. So, government is also keen on developing R&D in higher educations. The IT section of CB can play a vital role. It is provided with the necessary taking of the top management. Yes, right. So, that is a 4-mark part. With that, we can complete the discussion of the total paper. So, we discuss unseen part plus the pre-seen part. Pre-seen actually was discussed very quickly, and I am recommending you to watch the pre-seen analysis done for the last batch, right. So, please look at that one here. I just went through the pre-seen very quickly. I hope you got some value from my discussions, right. Then thank you very much for participating. Wish you all the best for the exam.